Now, torture remains the subject of major concern in Nigeria. The most frequent perpetrators of torture are operatives of the security and law enforcement agencies, including the police, the military, the state security service, and agents of paramilitary institutions such as prison officers, officials of Nigerian Security, and Civil Defense Corps. These acts are usually perpetrated before official detention, after which the victims are detained by the security agency involved or transferred to the prisons. First, the commemoration of the 2022 International Day in support of victims of torture marked in a 2-day technical consultation with the theme, Achieving Zero Tolerance for Torture. Our correspondent, Malik Iduro, was at the event and reports.
Although Nigeria has ratified several major international human rights treaties, torture remains a common tool utilized by security forces for interrogation, intimidation, and punishment of crime suspects. There has been an increase in the number of reported cases of torture in the northern region of Nigeria. This remains the case, not due to lack of awareness-raising initiatives, but due to inadequate facilities, provisions and mechanisms for investigation, regular monitoring of detention facilities, effective oversight, and speedy justice delivery. Permanent Secretary and Solicitor General of the Federation, Mrs. Beatrice Jedi Agba, represented by Muhammad Abubakar, noted the Nigerian government and its justice system does not condone the act of torture, noting that relevant stakeholders are putting in mechanisms to address the issue of torture.
There are cases bordering on torture that were actually prosecuted by the police against police officers. 2 of such cases are now at the Supreme Court. At the High Court, they were sentenced to death. They appealed to the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal affirmed the decision of the High Court, and they are now at the Supreme Court. I also have records of court-martial where the military court-martial officers and men that were found wanting, especially in the front lines, rape, cases of rape, torture. So we are doing what we can as a government to address these issues.
Meanwhile, Country Director Advocate San Francis France Angela Uwandu Uzoma Uwochukwu said, although victims of torture would rarely speak up, its organization assures that those who are found culpable faces the law, adding that adequate punishment will be recommended as disciplinary measures for perpetrators in no time.
It's prevalent. It is commonly used by security agencies as a means of interrogation rather than investigation. So for the victims that we represent, we're only able to handle very small number. For example, last year alone, we were able to handle on our SAFE project 120 victims of torture, but also family members of victims of extrajudicial killings and those who've been arbitrarily detained. And on the PROCAT project, which is a different project, responding only to victims of torture, we're able to handle respond to 84 victims of torture. And this year, we hope that we'll be able to also respond to an equal amount of number of victims, but this is just with the resources that is available to us.
Distinguishing on types of torture, the keynote speaker, Professor of Practice in International Human Rights Law at the Fletcher School, USA, Professor Chidi Aselem Odinkalu, who spoke on the Anti-Torture Act, noted that the hierarchy of life depends on how one treats others.
Some people are more human than others, continues to live with us today. This one a driver, the other one a cook, this one a gate man. So as we create these hierarchies of subhuman, we subject other lesser mortals to treatments that no human being should have. The hierarchies of Nigeria define the way we treat people. And most of us would only treat as human the people who are in our station in life. If you are in the Federal Ministry of Justice, maybe you're human. And when you come there to look for service, you don't belong. Then the day you leave, they will subject you to that same treatment that you started subjecting other people to. Some of you would have seen some of the things, the harrowing things they do to people. They tie you hand and leg and hang you up the rafters and are burning you with rubber, yes, with droplets. And this has happened to at least 2 people I know. One died, the other survived. Or they decapitate your phallus or your genitals and continue to question you. Now, as they are dropping these droplets of burning plastic on you, they put something in your mouth and tell you not to say anything. So you're not supposed, if you open your mouth, they do something else even more terrible to you. Now, and that form of torture, actually, you only see in the security services. So you realize that many of the people doing this stuff actually have tactical awareness, may have either abandoned the services or retired from the services. Yes? Now, if IPOB were to do that, what happens? Or if Boko Haram did it, or bandits did it, or herdsmen did it, how does the state react to that?
Though Nigerian law provides for the right to life and the dignity of human person, it remains inadequate in guaranteeing effective redress to victims of torture and accountability of the perpetrators. It is therefore imperative that this gap be closed and inadequacies addressed.